Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest, semi-daily Reddit content every other day. That's what I said I'd do, that's what I'm continuing to do, and I gotta be kinda proud of myself for doing it. So, today, it is rSlash EntitledParents. You know what it do, the goody good, the favorite of all, basically. Big shout out to Lady Nix for digging these stories up for us. If you've got some stories that you'd like to read, let me know. You can hop in the Discord server and drop them in the old DMs, or we could go old-fashioned with an email. Either way works for me. I just want to do my best at bringing you guys the content that you want. And at the moment, that's rSlash EntitledParents, and I want it too. So, without any more hesitation, let's go ahead and jump right into these stories. You stole my son's spot. Yeah. For context, there's a lot that I need to provide to help set the scene, so I apologize if it ends up being super long. The situation I'm sharing occurred when I was in 8th grade, back in the late winter, early spring of 2005. One thing it's important to know is that my hometown isn't the best place to grow up. That's too polite. It is downright dangerous at times, and many of the people don't have jobs because businesses have closed down. In fact, if somehow you are lucky enough to find a job here, it pays minimum wage. So many people live below the poverty line and often turn to some dangerous / illegal means of making money to pay the bills. It's real out here. Just before school was supposed to begin, the winter break representatives from each of the 3 high schools in my hometown came to give us a presentation about their individual schools and provided information packets for us and our parents. This was mainly so we'd have information on hand in order to help the students and their parents / guardians make the best possible decision about where to go for high school. Yeah, you don't need to worry about high school yet, buddy. That's okay. It's important to note that these schools were 3 different types of high schools altogether. School 1, comprehensive high school, your typical high school that bases its curriculum on academic studies. School 2, Catholic high school. Student must be accepted, parents pay tuition, and students wear uniforms. School number 3 is vocational high school. Students must be accepted, equally divides the learning time between academic courses and a trade / vocational program of some kind. I attended this school. Most of my friends' parents, as well as friends of my mom and dad, had already decided that they would not allow us to attend the comprehensive school for a wide variety of reasons. Student body size, usually a graduating class was approximately 1,000 students, abysmal test scores, and it had such overall performance that the State Department of Education had to step in and basically take over the school so it wouldn't lose its accreditation. While all these issues mattered to my parents, their, especially my dad's, main motivation for not sending me there was that all the kids who beat me up and made my life hell would be going to school there. Making this decision was not uncommon among parents as a whole. However, the 2 remaining options required that students submit an application and would review an applicant's school records, grades, disciplinary issues, attendance, etc. for as far back as was needed to determine which students would be accepted, who would be put on the waiting list, and who would be rejected / denied, although they could apply the following school year. Since most folks could not afford the tuition of the Catholic school, students applied to the vocational high school instead, with the result being that there were always many, many more applicants than there were places, and competition was very stiff. For example, when I submitted my application in 2005, the school had received well over 1,000 applications for the 300 available spots. The administration and the school board for the vocational high school had to review school records as far back as 3rd or 4th grade. This brings me to the interaction that I had way back when. Characters: OP, that's me. EM, Mother Gothel. Gothel? EK, entitled kid, dad equals my dad. It's April / spring break, and I'm hanging out with friends, including entitled kid, who was my friend at the time, at my house, and my parents are outside in the yard. We had all applied to vocational high school and received our decision letters in the mail, but we didn't tell our parents because we wanted to open them together. Once we all read our letters, we went to our parents to share the news, as we assumed every one of our friend group was admitted. My dad was super happy for me and congratulated all of us. Then entitled kid chimes in with, "I was rejected!" And I felt awful for being so excited. Enter entitled mother. We, the kids, go back in the house to play more video games, and we're having a blast. Even entitled kid seems to be feeling a little bit better since he can reapply the next year. I don't know how long we were playing, but entitled mother comes into the house while the rest of the adults are outside and asks me to help her find something that my mom needed for whatever she was grilling. Being taught to respect my elders, I went to help. Entitled mother: how dare you celebrate your acceptance in front of entitled kid? Are you trying to hurt him more? OP: no. As a matter of fact, I had assumed that all of us had been accepted, including entitled kid. Entitled mother: little liar. OP: I'm not lying to you. Entitled mother: how the hell did you get in and entitled kid didn't? OP: I don't know. I'm not the one who made the decision. Entitled mother: most of those folk programs aren't meant for girls anyways. Tell the school you don't want to go and that you're giving your spot to entitled kid. OP: that's not how it works. They'd go to the waiting list and entitled kid was flat out rejected. He has to try again and reapply next year. Now, entitled mother really loses it. Entitled mother: that is how it works. You stole his spot and I demand you give it back. Dad appears out of nowhere and steps in. Dad: hey, entitled mother, OP didn't steal anything from entitled kid, or anyone else for that matter. She got in based on her own merit. Entitled mother: BS! She and entitled kid are both straight A students, athletes, and are involved with their schools. So clearly she stole his spot since they're nearly identical candidates. Dad now loses his mind. Listen, they had to go back to when these kids were in elementary school to figure out who to accept. It's not my fault or OP's that entitled kid was a little douche from kindergarten until 6th grade. Now, leave my house. Dad 1, entitled mother 0. So it's a little bit of a sad story to me, basically because, you know, everybody's trying to do what's best for their kids, and I totally get that, but entitled mother was just kind of way whacked out about it. She wanted to blame somebody else for her problems, which is kind of what humans do, but because that is the case, you need to be aware of it, you know what I mean? Obviously, they were pretty good friends, these two families, at some point, because they're like barbecuing together and all this stuff, having the good times. But this one little bump was enough to just have the whole relationship fall apart, which is kind of sad, but honestly, I don't think OP's parents needs any friends like this. This lady's out of her mind. Entitled kid didn't seem all that bad until I go into the comments and OP's like, oh yeah, he still lives with his mom, stuff like that. Which might just be like some parental failings, you know what I mean? She's like, oh my god, he's such a golden child. It's like, no, you do need to criticize your children. You can't say that everything that they do is great. You also can't say that it's but constructive criticism, that's what they call it. I could be totally wrong. I might get lambasted in the comments, but you know, this is my parenting style, so if one of my kids brings me a picture or something like that, I'll be like, wow, that's really nice. But how could you improve it? You know what I mean? You can't just say, wow, this is the best thing in the world, better than anybody's ever made, because then you're not giving them realistic expectations. You know what I mean? And that's how children end up failing in the real world. But this isn't a story about global participation trophies. I mean, kind of it is, because this lady couldn't accept that her child wasn't chosen to participate. But I bet there's a lot of children that weren't chosen, and their parents kind of just went, okay, well, gotta pony up money for a Catholic high school, or send them to the bad high school. The quote-unquote bad high school. Which, I went to a bad high school for a little bit, but whatever. It's not that terrible. Come on, I had some good times. Wouldn't have gotten in so much trouble, or had so much fun, if I had gone to a good high school. Oh, Lord. Anyways, that's about all I got to say about that. We can argue about parenting strategies in the comments if you'd like. And I'm gonna move on to the next story. Entitled Dad forces us to watch his son. It's kind of a funny title. It's like, hey, are you looking at him? Look at him. He could do a kickflip. Look at him. Howdy, strangers. So I was going through my Snapchat memories when I was reminded of this story from December of 2019. Truly something I'll never forget. Snapchat, huh? Well, somebody has to use it, I guess. Oh, no shade. Cast. ED entitled Dad, ES entitled Son, AR, Art Teacher, MF, my friend. I mean my friend. Nice. NM is nice mother. Me, that's OP. So this took place a few days before Christmas. Normally most teachers didn't feel like teaching by the end of December, so my art teacher at the time, since I graduated this year, took us on a trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It was about 22 kids and 2 teachers. My art teacher and the 9th grade English teacher, who was pretty cool. We took a bus from our school to the museum. Also, I should point out that it was like 20 degrees outside, so we had on our coats and hats, etc. Since the museum tended to have a lot of field trips from school, we got a private cubby to put our stuff. I decided to grab my bag since there was a gift shop and I wanted to buy something. This will be important later. The museum tour was great. We were able to roam around the museum and got to see some amazing pieces of work. There was a display which was built like a mansion from the 1800s. My friend and I went in, and so did our entitled dad and entitled son. My friend and I were cracking some jokes and taking pictures, and entitled dad and entitled son approached us. Entitled dad,
"Well, aren't you two a cute couple?"
My friend, excuse us? Entitled dad,
"It's nice to see a young couple wearing matching shirts."
My friend and I were both wearing our senior hoodies. OP, sir, we're just friends. Plus, it wouldn't work out since neither of us is interested in each other. My friend is gay and I'm bi and was with a girl at the time. Entitled dad suddenly shifted tones from nice guy to complete dick. Entitled dad,
"Whatever. Can either of you watch my kid?"
proceeds to walk to the bathroom in the display. My friend, why do we have to watch him? OP, I don't know. Entitled son,
"My daddy says you have to watch me, ha 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 ha!"
in the most mocking little tone I have ever heard. OP, wanna leave? My friend, sure. Entitled son,
"You can't leave me alone!"
OP, your dad's in the bathroom over there, and we have to go back to our group. I babysit my neighbor's kids a lot, and I know how to talk to kids since he was like 4 or 5. We dropped him off in front of the men's room and were able to get out of the exhibit. After about an hour and a half of exploring the museum, seeing some famous pieces, and the outfits from the 2019 Met Gala, I fangirled a little when I saw the Harry Styles one, not gonna lie. We were about to head up into the gift shop when I saw entitled dad and entitled son in the shop. I was picking out a Buddha t-shirt, which I ended up buying, when entitled dad came up to me, enraged. Entitled dad,
"Why would you leave my little boy alone?"
no you. OP, sir, I don't have to watch over your kid, and I'm on a field trip, so can you leave me alone? Entitled dad,
"I bet you aren't even on a field trip. I bet you're ditching class. I'll call your school and tell them you're a tardy little
We had to check out of the building before we go on any kind of trip, so the attendance office probably knew that we were gone. Art teacher, excuse me, sir, but why are you harassing my student? Entitled dad,
Your student is ditching class so she could be here."
art teacher, you mean her. The student wearing a visitor's sticker saying that she's on a trip. The one that all of the students are wearing. Entitled dad proceeds to look at my 2 other friends who are wearing the same pass. Entitled son,
"You lying She wanted to hurt me!"
yeah, a 5-year-old calling somebody a lying I'm so sure. Not gonna lie, I kinda laughed, but the kids started throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of a gift shop. My friend got a security guard, and the security guard told the dad that he needed to leave. Art teacher proceeds to gather the kids, and we exited the museum. But that's not where the story ends, folks. But wait, there's more! It was about a 20-minute walk from the subway station we needed to get so we could take the ferry home. We got into the train car, and as we're waiting to get off the train, entitled dad, entitled son, and another woman get onto our car. He shoots me a death glare as I hear him mumble, "Stupid bitch." We ended up having to wait about 25 minutes before the next ferry ride, so a bunch of us proceeded to get lunch from Wendy's. I only got some fries and a Frosty. What a lunch. I was the first to sit down when entitled dad and entitled son came over. Entitled dad,
"I'm waiting."
OP, waiting for what? Entitled dad,
"For you to apologize for getting me kicked out of the gift shop."
I was just about to say something when a woman who turned out to be his wife spoke up. Nice mother.
"Jerry, stop harassing that girl. She's done nothing wrong."
Entitled son,
But Mommy, she left me behind.
Nice, Mom. Sweetie, I told you not to talk to strangers. And as for you, Jerry, take him into the bathroom. We don't want another church fiasco. What? The entitled dad shoots me another dirty glare, and nice mom and entitled son walk away. The nice mom apologizes for how her son and husband behaved and explained that I shouldn't have been forced to watch her kid. The ferry arrived, my friends and I sat far away from that family. And who says museums are boring? Well, decent story I guess, but it has all the trappings, all the makings, all the accoutrement of a bullshit story. The very first thing that set my BS radar off is that they took a bus to the museum, and then they took the metro back. Like, what happened to the bus driver? He was just like, okay, see you later. I got other kids to go pick up, or something like that. Secondly, why would a father not take his son into the bathroom? If it's a daughter, I kinda get it, I guess, but basically every parent takes their kid into the bathroom, right? I get so happy when my son tries to emulate what he's learned from watching me pee. He still doesn't know quite, like, where to pee yet. It's often in a corner or something like that. We're still getting that potty training thing down. God, it's hard. He is just terrified of the toilet. The third, the final, the straw that broke the camel's back is basically that the friend and the OP got to just go wandering around by themselves during a school field trip, which every school field trip I've been on, that has never happened. Ever. As soon as you step out of line, the chaperones are like, where are you going? What's going on? Like, I gotta go to the bathroom. They're like, okay, wait for everybody else to go to the bathroom. One of myriad reasons that I am so glad to be out of school. I can piss when I want to piss. If I was super invested, I'd look up a map, you know, and see how long it would actually take to walk from the metro to a subway. But something tells me that there would be a hole in that part of the story, too. Maybe if Annikins is around. She's like the CSI detective of the comments section. She, like, seriously researches stuff. She calculated Chipotle burritos for one video, and she's like, this one checks out. I'm like, cool. I just love that, you know, getting to know everybody in the comment section, what their roles are, you know. You got the firsts, you got the fact checkers, you got the helpers, you got the people who don't say anything unless I say something out of line or stupid. Which they probably said something already because I offered parenting advice in the first, which is something that you should never ever do on the internet, apparently. Everybody's like, how dare you discipline your children? It's like, yeah, you let me know how the alternative works out. They're gonna end up posting fake stories on Reddit for karma. I don't know. It could be a true story, but it just smells. Ugh. You smell that? It's not good. It smells fake. But I do enjoy the fake stories just as much because I get to dissect them piece by piece. I'm a little bit curious about the church incident, but knowing the OP, she'll just write up something fake about the church incident. So hard pass. Thanks, Nina the Weirdo 420, but better luck next time, you know? If you're gonna write a fake story, like, do a first draft, couple revisions, then you got your final draft. Work for that karma. Maybe I'm ripping on them too hard. You good, you good. It's just Reddit. Anyways, let's jump into that last story, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I saw a woman assault a 4-year-old for splashing in her pond, but she didn't know the father was right behind her. Ooh! I hope she gets her wig took! I tried to get a video, but I only caught the end of it. Dang, edit. I added a link to the video of what I was able to get on camera at the bottom. Yes! A little audio-visual accompaniment. On Saturday, I took my spouse and daughter on a little hike in Shenandoah National Forest now that they've opened again. Shenandoah. Doesn't John Denver sing about that? That must mean this is in Virginia. Hey! That means nothing to me. We chose a small path that runs next to a creek with little pools of water and streams that kids love to play in. We got to a small pool of water, and my daughter wanted to play, so we stayed there for a bit. A few minutes after we got there, a German woman arrived at the spot with her 2 kids, probably around 6 and 8 years old. She was super demanding to them,
Don't touch that! Don't get wet!
etc. Her interactions were just weird. After a bit, an Indian family arrived with 4 small children. Immediately, the German mother became territorial over this little pool of water and yelled at the Indian man's kids.
Stop splashing! Go over, away from us! We were here first!
The kids looked at her and had that look on their faces that kids get when they don't know what to do. They just sort of froze. After a minute or so, the smallest child, about 4, began playing again. The German woman became enraged and yelled,
Stop splashing the water!
She turned to her 6-year-old son and told him,
Go splash those kids and show them that this is our water to play in.
Her poor kid looked at her and quietly told her that he wanted to go. The German woman then stood up, went right over to the 4-year-old kid, and splashed him hard with 2 hands, completely soaking him while yelling,
How do you like it?
The force was so strong that the child fell over in the water. Immediately, and seemingly out of nowhere, the child's father sprinted right up to the German woman and yelled, You do not assault a child, whether your own or others. You dare to splash my child like that? The German woman didn't back down and told him that he should be a better father by watching his children more closely, and that her kids were there first. The Indian man said, It doesn't matter what your reasoning is. Only crazy adults think they can assault a small child and knock them over. Don't you hear yourself? You sound insane. I'm reporting you immediately. How could you think your actions are justified? At this point, I was able to turn my camera on and film the end of the confrontation. She backed off and packed her things, but still kept her mouth running at the Indian man. He then stopped giving her attention and just ignored her with the best dismissive hand wave that I've ever seen. We were shocked that such an interaction could happen over something so petty, but we were glad that the mother got put in her place. I just felt so bad for her son and daughter who, even at their young age, were so embarrassed by their mother's actions. I'll try to upload the video I have, which captures the dad's commendable and badass hand gesture. So then the question is, do I switch it up just to see the hand gesture? And the answer to that is, hell yes I do! That poor little kid's just standing there like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's not the hand gesture that gets me in this video, it's the knife hand. I love when people point with their whole hand. It's so badass. Only other place I've seen that is in the military. So maybe this guy's ex-military. Maybe he could kill that lady if he wanted to.
Stop it! And that's a rubbish thing, okay? You cannot act like a child. You are
I don't care.
that's why you are doing it, right?
I don't want to make it like a racial issue, but come on. They're also both yelling at each other without masks on about like a foot away from each other's faces. That's how you get the coronavirus. They're like, hooray, coronavirus is over, let's go hang out in the woods. Which you'd think would be safe, except there's a bunch of other people hanging out in the woods who want to get into altercations. Stay at home, bruh. Buy a pool, bruh. Now, obviously, I mean, as with most stories, I feel the most bad for the kids. Like, they were totally down to just chill out and play together. Indian and German children coming together, but then the parents are like, you look different. You look different, you can't play with my kids. Like, bruh. I thought we were over that. Granted, it's only been about 50 years since we started getting over that, but we're not making much progress. I like to think that we have, personally, but then a situation like this pops up and I'm like, dude, maybe I need to reevaluate things. Not everybody sees the world the way that I do, I guess. Which is fine in a lot of cases, but not like this. Not like this. Anyways, friends, I hope that you will like, comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy the video. Check out the links in the description to Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. And of course, as always, a big shout out to my beautiful and lovely patrons. We've got Just Austin, Robert Waits, Dot Nathan, Crimson Albedo, Lady Nix, Radimus Cisco, Damon Darkstar, and the OGest of all, Nico the Legend. I appreciate you guys for helping me live the dream, at least monetarily. And to everyone else, I appreciate you for helping me live the dream via that watch time. Which means that this channel, once it hits 1,000 subscribers, is basically going to be instantly monetizable. So that is the goal at the moment, 1,000 subscribers. Tell your friends, tell your family. Does your grandma like Entitled Parents? Everybody likes Entitled Parents. I mean, not likes interacting with them, but likes hearing stories about them. So maybe they just don't know that they like it yet. Just drop it on like your Facebook timeline and your Twitter page and be like, hey, I thought this video was cool. And then it's like giving them their first taste of like crack cocaine or something. And then they binge watch all the ReddX videos. At least that's all part of my dastardly plan to take over the platform of YouTube. Which I probably should have started many months ago, but I didn't know that I liked reading Reddit videos this much. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you once again. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you will keep yourselves safe out there. Wear your masks. Wash your hands. For God's sake, take care of yourself. Because you are loved, you are valued, and you definitely deserve it. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you, as always, for listening along with me. And until the next time, friends. Bye-bye.